My brother is 8 years older than me, and pretty much I had to do anything my brother did growing up as a kid. So he played trumpet for a short time, and then he sort of gave it up, and I picked it up, and I didn't want to play drums in school band. I thought that was really sort of boring, the drum parts in school band, so I played trumpet and then eventually played pretty much any brass instrument that they had. I learned how to read music from playing trumpet. We had a long hallway, and the bedrooms were sort of down at the end of the hallway of our house, and my bedroom was right next to my parents. And my dad would just crank up the TV to like 25 so he could hear it, and I played drums for hours. Graduated high school when I was 17, 18 years old, yeah, and then went to music school for a couple of years at the Dick Grove School of Music in Los Angeles. And Dick Grove was a composer and a piano player and had a composition program that was pretty elaborate and very well known around the world. Did that for a couple of years, and boy, at that time, that's when I really started working, joining bands, making a living, making money doing shows and stuff. Was kind of all stemmed from that, and I never looked back after that point.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be invisible? Let me tell you, man, it ain't as great as it sounds. You spend most of your life wishing for the best, while all your beliefs are being put to the test. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to lead a double life? Never knowing which way is up or which way is down. Guaranteed to make you reach for the stars, but when you fall back to earth, you find yourself behind bars. You're locked in and can't get out. You're locked in and dying to find a way out.
From music school, about 18 years old till 25, did any gig that would come my way, from weddings, bar mitzvahs, cover bands. I would go out and network all the time and meet other drummers and shake hands, trade cards, all that kind of stuff.
Nick and I first met through a friend of ours named Dave Kersner. Nick and Dave both played with an artist by the name of Kevin Gilbert, who Nick has always been very vocal about how Kevin got him his start in LA.
There is a progressive rock festival in LA called Prog Fest. It's the 20th anniversary of Genesis' record, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. He wants to play that record at this show. Would I be interested? Genesis was my favorite band as a kid. Phil Collins, my favorite drummer. I played every Genesis song from top to bottom 1,000 times growing up. We did the show, and from that point, he asked me to join his band called Thud. He had a record out called Thud at the time. We went on the road, and he basically just took me under his wing. We had started a band, Kevin, myself, and the drummer, Brian McLeod, started a band called Caviar. Brian was the drummer in Tears for Fears. He had done the Elemental tour and played on the record Raoul and the Kings of Spain. When it time came to go on tour for the Raoul and Kings of Spain record, Brian decided he wanted to stay back, so he recommended me to Roland, and I pretty much got the gig sight unseen, no audition, no nothing. I went from just a floundering musician in LA to meeting this one guy, and then everything changed on a dime, really. I was in the band for 15 years after that. I'd been in the audience listening to them play Shout and Everybody Wants to Rule the World and that kind of stuff. Now I was the guy on stage doing it and seeing the crowd do their thing. It was unbelievable.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be invisible? Let me tell you, man, it ain't as great as it sounds. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be invisible? I know for a fact it ain't as great as it sounds.
The album that I'm working on for me is called Invisible.
Several years ago, Nick went on the road with Cirque.
In the Cirque show Totem, my drums were in a drum booth behind the stage. So people couldn't see me play. I had 2 computer screens, one with the Pro Tools and the Ableton Live stuff, and then a monitor to see the show, the feed from the front.
He was playing drums every night in a room by himself.
I was thinking, I'm invisible. Anybody could be back here. And that's when I started writing the first couple of tunes.
Being in a room playing the same show for 5 years, 1,300 times. You hear the applause, you don't see it except on a monitor, and you're part of this great thing, but you're invisible to this audience. I think as he explored that concept, more and more doors started opening on, hey, if this was a character in a story, what would happen if he was in a 9-to-5 day job and he just walked out one day?
The way I'm trying to encapsulate the whole story in a short sentence is a man who is frustrated in his life decides, forget it, I'm getting out of here, and he goes in search for the meaning of his life, and in the end he finds it. There's a song on the record called I'm Gone, which is a total homage to the Bee Gees. This particular song, I'm Gone, the guy is actually taken off and he's going out to explore the world. He leaves his dead-end job and he goes outside like, he sees the sky like it's the first time ever. He sees a bird flying, it's blowing his mind. And that made me think about John Travolta's walking down the road to the song Staying Alive. So then I found out what the BPM of that song was, which is 110 BPM, which happens to be the same exact BPM when you're giving somebody CPR. It's a funk tune, really, a funk R&B tune. So it's definitely not prog, that particular song.
The sun is bright, so bright I'm blinded. The air is fresh, so fresh I can barely breathe. I can barely breathe. Is this another planet I've walked into? Is this the world that was always so out of view? Always so out of view. 'Cause I'm gone, I'm out, I finally made my move. There's got to be much more to see, so much I want to prove to me. Throw out the clutter and agree, 'cause I'm gone, I'm out, and it feels so good. It feels so good.
The orchestrations we recorded at Abbey Road with a full string section and a full brass section.
There was many holy crap moments for me going to Abbey Road. A, I'm recording my own music at Abbey Road. Crazy cool. Then B, you're in the Beatles room. All the iconic music that has come out of that room. Not many musicians that I know get that opportunity. The song Where's the Passion is pretty much right in the middle of the story. That's where he leaves his job, he goes through some of the adventures, he talks to some people, and he's about to just really take off and find some new pastures in life. And while he's sitting waiting for that train, he's thinking about why he's where he's at. When he was a kid, he had passion for life, for music, for art. Where did all that passion go? And he wants to find that again. For this record, I'm using a different drum kit, literally a different drum kit on every song.
Professional musicians are going to pick the instrument that serves the song. It is not uncommon in a recording studio to have the rack toms from one manufacturer, the floor toms from another manufacturer, a whole bunch of different cymbals, different heads, 6 different snare drums sitting there, and alternate microphones going all at the same time. We're very spoiled here at Sweetwater, and we know what to reach for when we're going for different sounds. So if we were to sit down and pick one drum kit, neither Nick nor myself would be happy with the end result. That brought up the idea of, what if we actually sat down and thought through this and found a way to include all of our different drum vendors throughout this entire project, and then tell that story, which is, on this song we used this drum kit for this reason. On this song, we used several pieces from several different drum kits for this reason.
Mercy is one of my favorite tracks on this record for a number of reasons. That's the song where he gets on the train to leave town, and you know how when you're on a subway, you look out the window, as the train's flying down the track, it looks like you're looking at a TV screen. It goes by really fast, and he basically starts reliving his life in the window, and he starts feeling that there's something there. It's gonna lift him up to a new and better place.
Racing down the track.
That a lot of drummers would turn a critical ear to this. And by doing so, they're going to be paying attention, listening on headphones, and trying to identify, how does this drum kit on this song sound different from the drum kit on the next song? So if we're going to use all these different drum kits, we had to record them in a way that was not only accurate, but extremely hi-fi and transparent. We had to have a norm. So we turned to a company that makes some of, if not the most critical microphones in the world, and that's DPA. Not only did we put a lot of thought into this, Nick and I traveled to the factory in Denmark and took a tour and watched the 6-week process that all of their microphones go through. How a microphone sounds on axis on a particular drum in a drum kit setup is only half as important as how it sounds off axis. because everything bleeds into everything else. You've got a snare drum mic next to a rack tom mic, next to a hi-hat mic with an overhead mic. What makes using all DPAs on the entire drum kit in the same setup for every song so great is it takes the technology and throws it out the window. So when we listen back to each track on the album, you truly hear, this is what this drum kit sounds like. This is what this drum kit sounds like. You're seeing it, you're hearing it through that same lens, song to song to song throughout the entire project. We're using some of the best microphones on the market that have some of the highest SPL ratings. Remember, drums are loud, to where when you listen back to the album, all the drums are clean, pristine, punchy where they need to be, organic and open where they need to be. Whatever they're doing in the song, you're hearing a very hi-fi accurate representation of that on playback, in your headphones, on your speakers, in your car, wherever you're listening to this album.
I have a real heavy belief that we're all here for a reason. We all have a purpose in this world, and that's really my main motivation. Well, I think it's a culmination of my whole career. Everything I've learned up to this point is coming across on this record. You know, I've been playing drums for 40 some odd years and singing along. I think I was a quality drummer all of those years. The way I write music now, production, parts, being able to hear things in a bigger picture, it just has come from experience. I found my voice.